A student was killed and another wounded in a drive-by shooting in Braamfontein in the Johannesburg CBD yesterday. The 18-year-old, who's said to be a University of Johannesburg student, was reportedly caught in the crossfire when gunmen opened fire on a parked BMW. The images of the shooting, believed to be taxi-related, sent shockwaves throughout the university community. The question is, how can similar brazen shootings be avoided and perpetrators brought to book? For more on that, we are joined by Calvin Rafadi, who is a criminal and policing expert. Calvin, good morning to you and welcome to the program. When you watch those images, it is so upsetting. In broad daylight, someone is hanging out of their vehicle with the last signs of life, their blood spilling onto a street, passers-by milling about, drivers driving by the shooting. And then you have innocent students who are traveling in a bus, caught in this crossfire and then killed. This is what South Africa seems to be coming to. As you watch these scenes unfold as a crime expert, what are you thinking and feeling about this descent into madness?
Yeah, good morning and good morning to your viewers. Indeed, Iman, we are very worried. And like we always say, everywhere now it's a crime scene in South Africa. There's no such thing as a hotspot or no hotspot, but everywhere it's a crime scene. But what needs to happen now, we're trying to deploy more technology to sort out the crime. I mean, in that very same vicinity of yesterday, and may the student, rest in peace. But in the same space, we've got cameras which are controlled by the Metro Police in the city. So, but what does their data say? I mean, they said to us that they've got cameras all over the place, which by now they could have seen where are those people after they shot, those people, where did they run to? But in any event, I think we need to go back now to the drawing board and revive the structure of informants on the ground. Now, what do I mean by that? Crime intelligence, they are missing in action, of which they should be proactive. But the issue that, you come up with good information, you infiltrate criminals, but you are only receiving a reward of 3,000. They need to sort out that issue that they've contaminated the crime intelligence, especially when it comes to informant structure.
When you talk about the CCTV, and I wanted to ask it a bit later, but let's get into it now. CCTV cameras, you've got security patrols that are on some of the street corners. You have the recently appointed, crime wardens. Where are they, Calvin? Where should they be?
Yes, one always wonders. And, we were even promised drones, that there will be drones flying all over the place, and e-panic buttons. We assume that the e-panic button is the one that you'll press, but you need to have a phone that can, load that particular software. So if you're using just a normal phone, obviously with the e-panic. But what I'm saying is, just to underline, we need to go back to the drawing board, to a point where police need to be proactive. So the only time the police can be proactive is to get the information from the communities, get the information from the informant structures, to a point that why they don't pump more resources into that structure. Because at the moment, we are sitting with a problem where crime intelligence, they need to come here and explain, or maybe to the communities, that what is it about this committee paying 3,000 to an informant where you need to infiltrate a syndicate? I mean, taxi violence, incabis, cash in transit, kidnappings, you need covert operators, you need informants to infiltrate those particular space and come up with the information and give it to the police so that they can be proactive. So what we are dealing with is reactiveness, whereby, police even end up making so many mistakes. Look at now with the AKA case, we applaud the police, by the way. But at the same time, where's the boogeyman? So, but if you've got good intelligent guys on the ground, good covert operators, good informants who are well paid, then you get good information to eradicate crime.
Yeah, because one celebrity breakthrough in one case doesn't undo a number of cases that either go under-investigated, not investigated at all. We know the huge burden of dockets that sit on investigators' tables. The ratio is unsustainable of how many cases each detective has to investigate. So we can't look to the anomalies and say, that's a victory in general for the police. As you're saying, there's a lot more resource and muscularization that has to happen with police on the ground. ground. And therein lies the problem, Calvin, is that you're in the CBD, broad daylight. Here are people, witnesses, you have people who are taking footage on their cameras, you have, as you say, this resource of CCTV footage, there should be crime intelligence. But this happens, and the prospect of arresting the perpetrators, at this point, one doesn't know whether it will happen or not. And that increases and influences this culture of impunity, does it not?
Yes, no, indeed. We get very worried. Criminals are acting so brazenly, and this act of impunity, like you say. You know, you always listen to advices when the police, they will say, no, if you are stopped by an unmarked car with the blue lights, just drive by to the closest garage, because they rely on the CCTVs of that garage. But criminals, they don't care about the CCTVs, as we've seen like with yesterday and many other cases. And even, you know, in social media, you can even see them robbing a fueling station where there are CCTV cameras. So clearly technology doesn't work. So we've got a lot of guns out there. We need to go out and get those particular firearms. Police must stop giving an excuse when you give them information that, no, we need a search warrant to go and search in that particular place for the gun. No, beyond reasonable doubt, they can go in. But here's the thing now, to avoid, issues of capturing and disputes in court, they need to wear bulletproof vests with a cam on their...
What's happening with that? I mean, that was mooted before. Why has it not happened?
Yes, we need to revive and go back to the drawing board. We can't always promise, and then nothing happens, and then election, promise. So that shows that there's no political will. Police need to wear bulletproofs with a camera and then search in every house where they suspect that there are guns. They need to constantly visit even the gun owners, because with the gun owners, you must have a safe, even when it's a self-protection. Yeah. But you go to a hostel, I mean, where will one in the hostel keep a firearm? Those places, they need to be constantly raided and see that those owners of the guns, where do they keep those guns? Is it by them, and what is happening with the issue of the safes?
I want to come to the crime scene management very quickly, because you know that the prospect of a successful prosecution and a sentence and so on depends on the integrity of the evidence that is collected, the hygiene of the crime scene itself. When you looked at how that crime scene was managed yesterday, what did you think?
Yeah, well, what the other officers have said, that, a lot of people, it's more like when there's a cash in transit. Most people, we tend to run to the scene and contaminate the scene. We urge our, communities, whenever there's a crime scene, they mustn't move close to the crime scene. Because the police, they need to demarcate, they collect DNA, a lot of evidence from that particular crime scene. So if there's more people gathering there and then they contaminate the scene, then it becomes a problem. Now, speaking about collection of evidence, we applaud also the police. They said they sorted out the DNA issue. Okay, fine, we applaud them. But also we're sitting with a problem with the issues of guns and the ballistics. They take long for the results to come back. And let alone taking long for the results to come back, there's issues of load shedding. When you take a gun or a bullet for a ballistic processing, if load shedding kicks in, then the process has to start again. Oh. So there's a big backlog whereby many cases end up being withdrawn at court because of this particular issue, right, or even get thrown out of court. So police, ministry, they need to sort out even the gun ballistic issues. And, then we can at least hit somewhere to collect evidence and prosecute these people.
Certainly a thread that we can pick up perhaps in a future bulletin. Calvin, as always, thank you for your time and your availability. We appreciate you. Calvin Rafadi is a criminal and policing expert.